Diablo 4 is trash. It's low IQ slop, and anyone who even remotely hints at that not being the case is lying to you, or they are a flat out moron. There are no excuses to have fun alike or say anything good about Diablo 4. Blizzard had a chance to fix the game, and you know what they did? They completely ruined it. That's right. Blizzard had the chance of fixing the game and making it more complex, more interesting, more elaborate. And what did they do? They decided the reason why our fans are not having fun is because the game is too complex. So let's just cut off 20% of the IQ required to play that stupid slop and see what happens. And surprise, surprise. Now no one cares about the game so hard that even people don't care to be negative about it. I'm the last person here that cares about at least bashing this stupid game, okay? It is a absolute travesty what has happened here. Diablo is still one of my favorite franchises, but after 2, everything just has went downhill. Diablo Immortal, okay? Diablo Immortal. A microtransaction-riddled hellscape of a gacha simulator has more gameplay options than Diablo 4. And you know what's the funniest part about the disaster of Diablo 4? It's the fact that all of these people who are still kind of positive about it, but are like, things need to change. They're like, oh, I have no idea what's wrong with the game. Yeah, just keep making everything as this. Yeah, and you know what's funny? The only system in Diablo 4, the only system, Sanctification, is literally Path of Exile's corruption. And that is the only system in the game that people actually like because it's fun and it's interesting. That's it. There's nothing else in the game. The one system that's actually, like, has consequences to it, and that's the best system in the game by a landslide, and Blizzard is still like, I wonder why people don't like our game. Well, why do people like Sanctification? It must be luck. And in any case, here we are once again, boys. The video technically hasn't even started, but I'm yapping like there's no tomorrow. And we are in Season 11. And if you do not know, there are the 4 stages of the Riker Release X season for Diablo. First, there's excitement because it looks good. Okay, that's before the season is released. Then the season releases, and people are having fun. Less people than previously, but still having fun, I say. Then a week later, Season X is not actually that good, turns out. And then a month later, Season X was an absolute failure. This is how literally every season has been for Riker, and I honestly find that hilarious.
Okay, so are we watching Blizzard heal in real time? Because Blizzard's president just hinted at something we haven't seen in a long time. A reliable release cadence. 1 to 2 major launches.
Blizzard's president's eyes look more dead than an orphan's.
Which is every single year. 2026 is already stacked with WoW Midnight and Diablo 4 Lord of Hatred, but what are we getting in 2027? When are they going to reveal it? And could it be related to Diablo 4's 30th anniversary? Plus, Diablo 4 is doing the impossible. It didn't just bring people back for Paladin, it's keeping them. Yeah, Paladin brought people back.
We talked about this. It's bots. Diablo 4 is pretty much 90% bots at this point. Some items cost $150. Okay? Some items literally cost $150. Everything that is still playing Diablo, most of the part is bots.
But Sanctification, Divine Gifts, and the endgame loop are what's keeping people hooked. So let's break down what...
I'm sorry, did Diablo 4 just magically get an endgame from somewhere? I kind of doubt that.
What's working, what's still annoying, and what Blizzard needs to nail next. We'll also talk about the latest in PoE 2, No Rest for the Wicked, Time Quest 2, and Grim Dawn. Hey folks, this is Riker, and I dig into ARP. Starting off with Diablo, comments made by Blizzard President Johanna Faris seem to suggest that Blizzard is gearing up for an unprecedented level of output. In an interview with Bloomberg, she said, quote, I believe our best...
She? Oh, no wonder. No wonder Blizzard's a shit show.
best days are ahead of us. I really truly believe that. I also believe that we are in a position to think about delivering reliable cadences of launches. Our fans are hungry. They want to get involved. They want to feel reliability as well. They want us to have a sense of what's right around the corner.
Yeah, and it's probably another Goblin event. Again, I really think that Goblins are the epitome of just how bad the Diablo 4 player base is and how absolutely morally, creatively bankrupt Blizzard is. Because it's just like, okay, people want loot, how about the Goblin that drops loot? And then people are like, Goblin! I hate this. I hate this so much. And the fact that I always hated goblins. It was honestly one of the worst mechanics ever.
Let's look at it as a portfolio, and let's make sure that every, let's say, calendar year, there are at least 1 to 2 really big things that Blizzard is pumping out. And if we can configure our slate accordingly, which we believe we have done, we'll be able to stay top of mind, leveraging the multi-franchise opportunities that we have.
Bro, what the hell is this hellhole of corporate speak, okay? Honestly, that was next level corporate speak. My god. Will be able to stay on top of mind, leverage the multi-franchise opportunities that we have. My god. My god.
Leveraging the multi-franchise opportunities that we have. She later added, quote, I believe if you were to ask really any head of franchise right now, or teams on the franchises, hey, do you know where this is going to be through?
I'm gonna instantaneously say that the devs behind Expedition 33 and Baldur's Gate 4 are not gonna answer how she says whatever she says.
3 years from now, they do. And I think we're pretty excited. So 1 to 2 major things per calendar year. 2026 is starting off hot with World of Warcraft Midnight launching on March 2nd, and then Diablo 4 Lord of Hatred on April 28th. Maybe those...
Oh boy, another expansion I'm gonna have to play and review the story of. I'm so excited, I just can't hide it.
They're the only 2 things releasing this year, but what will be the 1 to 2 things for 2027? Since they have to be revealed this year, and likely to be revealed at BlizzCon in September. They would save any major announcement for that. And again, this year is the 30th anniversary of the Diablo franchise. So she's been putting a big focus on the existing franchises Blizzard has. She's done that in past interviews as well now on multi-year content rollout.
I mean, what the hell is she gonna say honestly else? Oh, we at Blizzard who have failed to make any game good are gonna make new games. People are gonna be like, pass.
Plans. She's even made comments suggesting a focus on the entertainment part of Blizzard Entertainment. In other words, it's not just about video games. I don't know, gang. Is Blizzard...
Hopefully she announces that Blizzard is gonna do AI like every other slop company so we can just, you know, batty it and say GG Nori.
finally healing from the influences of Bobby Kotick? And is it on the verge of a comeback? I hear...
Thinking that Bobby was the problem with Blizzard is just so sad. The people who think that Bobby was a bad thing are the people who don't understand anything, okay? Low education at its finest. No, nothing. Bobby was the saving grace at Blizzard. Here on this channel, we love two things. Pokemon and Bobby Kotick, okay? Never forget. Bobby is a saint amongst saints. Bobby was the only reason Blizzard Entertainment did not go down the shitter like it did, okay? Some people are blaming Bobby for everything. Oh, it's Bobby's fault that the UI is garbage. Bobby doesn't even know what World of Warcraft is. He just knows that you can sell $100 mounts there and that idiots will buy it. Bobby doesn't care about your garbage interface. He doesn't even know he's running a game company. He just knows he has a private jet and a stewardess that he... What do you mean? It's sad. It's sad how uneducated some people are. On the legend of the great, a Bobby ginormous, the original hard R N-word Kotick. We don't deserve him. We do not deserve Bobby. But Bobby deserves to be glazed by me every chance I get. That is true, though.
Things have been going pretty good with World of Warcraft. Overwatch
Wait,
seems...
like, what are we talking about pretty good? World of Warcraft, no one's talking about it. World of Warcraft is dying the death of apathy. No one talks about it. No one cares. They literally released a Demon Hunter class upgrade or some bullshit like that, and no one cares. Literally no one cares.
To be settling into a good place. There's rumors stirring of maybe something StarCraft to be revealed at BlizzCon. And even Diablo 4 is in a good place now with this latest season that's about 2 weeks old. And with the reveal of the expansion coming in spring. Season 11 of Diablo 4 has been quite the turnaround. And most of the lingering criticisms of the game will be addressed in Lord of Hatred. And
yes. Like Blizzard promised us 2 years ago. Bro, how long are you gonna keep believing this age-old Blizzard lie of, oh, we're listening now, oh, we care about your opinion, and then at the same sentence 5 seconds later they're like, yeah, we can only implement opinion from players like 3 years later down the line. Like, well, like, how can you fall for the same trick 50 times in a row? How, honestly?
speaking of the expansion, people continue to speculate on what the second class will be. Paladin is one,
No
and
one
the other one's a
cares.
mystery until launch. Well, we're getting it at launch. We don't know if it'll be a mystery until launch. We'll probably find out before launch. But, you know, we've, in past videos...
Okay, I'm calling my predictions right now about the new class. The new class is gonna be an early pre-order bonus that you cannot unlock unless you pre-order some kind of deluxe package. If you don't, you do not get the class early, you know? Then you need to, like, wait 7 days until you get to play the class or something like that. Okay, trust.
It's gone over the various theories a couple times now, so we're not gonna rehash that yet again. Check out those past videos for all the various theories, but a new piece of evidence to consider here. When you buy the Ultimate Edition of Lord of Hatred, you unlock this transmog set of gear that is half angelic and half demonic.
What? This is so lazy. It's half angelic, half demonic because half of it is black and half of it is white? Bro, that's so lazy.
And that really ties into the whole Lilith and Inarius theme, right? The new lore they added is Skovos being the home of the first civilization of Nephilim, the children of Lilith and Inarius, so they got all those giant Lilith and Inarius statues.
I'm sure this will not be retarded in the slightest. I'm sure this lore is gonna make so much sense.
Statues there, so this kind of reinforces the idea that we're getting one class that represents the angel side, the paladins who worship the light, and maybe the second class will represent the demonic side. This strengthens the whole warlock theory as some kind of a demonic caster or demon summoner. In past interviews about the Spiritborn, they had said that they...
Actually, true. Because if you think about it, like, pure casting-wise, there's only one class that... No, Necromancer also is a caster class. So, no, Druid also is kind of a caster class. But yeah, there's the Sorcerers, then there's the Necromancer, and then there's maybe a Druid. And that's it. You don't have anything else that actually feels even like a caster. Huh.
You know, for the Spiritborn and the new region Nahantu, they were intimately tied together, and they wanted to...
What a fucking disappointment the Spiritborn and the Hantu was. The lore there was so dull and stupid. My god. I can't wait what kind of other random no one cares BS they if Blizzard puts into the lore next. Honestly, the only thing that's interesting about Diablo 4 for me personally at this point is just to see how bad the lore can get, like, you know, with World of Warcraft.
Going forward, use that same technique with future classes, that the class would be thematically tied to the new region. Now, some people are pointing to this old class icon as a possible hint at the Warlock, but no, this was just the old Sorceress icon. They replaced it with this. This is the new one, but there was a time early on the official website that this was just the official Sorceress icon, so nothing to see here. Nothing to read in the tea leaves.
That honestly looks more demonic than sorcery, so yeah, it makes sense that it got changed.
But let's talk more about Season 11 and the current state of Diablo 4. So many people have come back to the game because of the Paladin. And it begs the question,
who has come back? I look at the Steam charts and it's the same numbers, it's the same fucking bot numbers. Who has come back? These Diablo 4 videos are getting less views by the goddamn day. Who's coming back?
was it a mistake for Diablo 4 to launch without this class? Not only is Sword and Board such a
it was as much of a mistake as Starfield launching their first expansion, Shattered Space, with revealing the buggy before the expansion launch. It was that same tier of mistake. No one cares. No one cared.
strong fantasy and playstyle that speaks to so many people who play fantasy games, and therefore having no class that really captures this, and the Necromancer doesn't count, it left a bunch of potential customers behind. But also, one could argue that the Paladin is perhaps a class that makes the most sense to include in a game about fighting literal demons from hell. Now, I'm not going to get into the lore here. There can be strong lore reasons to exclude Paladins, but when you're making a product designed to appeal to customers, you're going to find a lore solution to any problems that arise in order to make customers happy. And there's a reason that since release of D4, every single campfire chat has had the same question repeated over and over: when are we getting a Paladin? There's a reason this class has been requested so much more than any other.
The reason this class is requested more than any other is very simple. It's the fact that everyone knows that they're going to add the Paladin. It's just a matter of time, and Blizzard feels desperate enough to add it. Like, Reaper of Souls added it for Diablo 3. Everyone knows at this point that Paladin is just something that they're going to add. So, the only question is when, and, you know, people want to know.
And now that it has arrived, it is so abundantly clear how big the demand was for the Paladin and the need for the Paladin in the game. So, would Diablo 4 have been better off launching with the Paladin? Well,
the answer to that is obviously yes. I don't even know why we are asking that. A game launches with more stuff or less stuff. I wonder which is the good version. I wonder which people would prefer. More things, less things. Now, granted, Blizzard is such a redundant company that they honestly probably think, oh, people don't like choice. Yes, every time we add choice, people are happy. But that's just... I don't know why that happens. People don't actually like choices. Dude, you know how we can fix everything Blizzard related? It's by just making the simplest thing, honestly. Just make Blizzard treat their customers, their fans, their players like humans, not like a 50 IQ mouth breather who needs to be held by the hand with everything. Blizzard, for a decade and a half or more, honestly, at this point, has just constantly been in this form of panic that players cannot have any freedom, you know? The story's time gated, this is gated, that's gated, God forbid you get to do anything out of line.
I would actually hazard that the answer is no. I think getting the Paladin today is what has allowed the Paladin to be the best class in the game.
What?
I think giving the team the time to design the Spiritborn, the time to redo Diablo 4 almost entirely at this point, has allowed them to create the Paladin with the knowledge and the experience of all the changes and evolution the game has gone through. When the Spiritborn launched a year ago, it was clearly the best designed class. Now, the same holds true for the Paladin. It has surpassed the Spiritborn even. And I think it would be great if we can now revisit the existing classes and bring their designs up to par, because the bar has been lifted. It's tough to go back and play the other classes now, and not just because Paladin is currently overpowered. It's just, it is much more interesting to theory craft Paladin builds with their class mechanics.
What do you mean theory craft Paladin builds? Like, what am I hearing? The Paladin is so brain dead easy that the only builds that exist are like 2 currently, and Blizzard made them literally so everyone can see them. Like, Tittycraft, what exactly? What are we Tittycrafting? Plus 2% damage increase instead of 1? What are we Tittycrafting here?
And the gameplay is so tight. Like, I made a barbarian after my paladin, and the barbarian's technique system is so antiquated at this point. It barely has a class mechanic at all, and it's just a tiny bit of tedium to have to level up technique skills. It was a cool idea, in theory. I could imagine a game in which that system worked. When the game was slower, you know, the more you use these different weapon types, you're getting better at using these weapons. Your expertise is improving, and so you benefit more from the techniques. But what do you do in 2025? You just go to the training grounds, hit the training dummy with each weapon type until you've maxed them out. It doesn't make sense. In the current state of the game, there's nothing interesting left about it. It's just a little bit of tedium. Oh, and speaking of the training grounds, can we get a DPS meter there? It's great that we have the training grounds, great addition to the game. It's great for comparing your kind of average hits and the biggest damage spikes you're seeing, but without getting some kind of like a 10-second average or a total damage dealt, it's really tough to fine-tune your build and tell, is this actually more damage? Is it less damage? Yeah, maybe I'm getting higher, you know, crits, but is my regular hit actually, you know, coming out to be more over time? Now, as great as the Paladin is, and it's pretty damn great, people may have returned for the Paladin, but they stayed for Season 11. Without a robust season behind it, the Paladin would have just been a flash in the pan. People would have quickly started to complain about the game being same old, same old. But they're not. This season really is the best Diablo 4 season yet. There's still issues, for sure, right? The game isn't perfect, the game isn't fixed or saved, but a lot of what's remaining.
Okay, I'm tired of this. People returned for Diablo 4. Okay, this is the Steam DB, okay? 63% like ratio, and I mean, this is it. I'm sorry, where are people returning? I mean, this spike is a little bit higher, I guess. I guess. But is this actually this? I'm not even sure. Okay, see, this is max. Where are the people who are magically returning? Is this actually Season 10? Not even sure. In any case, yeah. And again, look at the retention. It's more than 50% at this point. Well, actually, almost more than 50. Well, close to 50%. If these are not bots, then Diablo 4 should be literally currently played by, I don't know, something like 5 million players on Battle.net? Because the game sold like, what, 20, 30, 40 million copies in its first month? Ridiculous. Where are all these players? I mean, Diablo 4 videos should be popping off everywhere, but they're not. And for the obvious reason that it's not true. No one's coming back to Diablo 4. Nobody cares. I barely honestly care to make this video at this point.
Is getting addressed in the expansion, right? We have no real endgame to chase right now. That's coming in the expansion. Skill twigs. We're getting massively expanded skill trees in the expansion.
Massively expanded nothing. I don't believe this. I saw it. And I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
The preview gives so much to hope for. The game is loaded with fun.
The preview gives effectively Diablo 4, Diablo 3 elemental damage picks. Diablo, the next expansion, is gonna be adding probably elemental plus damage affixes. So we just get to copy one more failed mechanic from Diablo 3, Diablo 4. Surely the second time around it's gonna be great. Said no one?
Moments now. Getting a mythic prankster and seeing those 5 mythics drop, that just feels amazing. And not just because gimme, I want all the things and I don't want to work for...
No, it is because of that. Because there's no other reason to play this game. There is... The only low IQ people enjoy Diablo 4 at this point. I'm sorry, I have to say it. Okay? There are people hot pro like Riker who trick themselves into believing Diablo 4 is not a shit show. But most people who are enjoying this game can't get a driver's license.
It's just the surprise of having this moment of holy crap, it just dropped 5 freaking mythics. We just have so many opportunities in the game now for moments of things to happen that are outside of the ordinary. Fun. This is the season of fun. They have added fun into the game, and they're not nerfing out the fun. You know, getting a mythic sanctification outcome. What an incredible surprise. And seeing, like, you know, the rare guy that got a Shaco on top of his Shaco, and it stacks. Fun. I've seen some people who've landed a mythic sanctification on top of a mythic item, and now they just want to, like, they want to make a build just to use this item, because it's a crazy item. This didn't exist before. There was never any reason to get excited about any piece of loot in this game up until...
There you go. There you go. A game about loot. Loot's useless.
This season. Sanctification has been such a positive addition to the game, and so unlike anything we've had yet. People are playing longer because of it. People are creating more builds. It has breathed new life into the otherwise dull endgame itemization of D4. I can't imagine going back to a game state without Sanctification, or at least something similar enough to replace it. This really...
Again, I have said this before. I think Sanctification is going to be made so everyone can do it. Everyone can get that super cool mythic unique item the same way that gems no longer matter, crafting materials no longer matter, mythic uniques no longer matter because you literally have more of them than white items. Like, white items, if they're still in the game, are probably the rarest items in the game at this point.
This is the first time that I'm going to advocate permanently keeping a power creep feature, because unlike powers, there's not been anything like it before, and I doubt we're gonna enter an age of revolving door seasonal sanctification type features. Now, sanctification aside, even the endgame loop of D4 is in a pretty good state right now. We've got a variety of different activities, and we're not just locked to doing any one of them. Sure, we're lacking some greater purpose or context to the endgame, some big pinnacle challenges, but all that's coming in the expansion with the expanded endgame. At least that's what they're promising. Thanks to the divine gifts of Season 11, which I think is really just like a teaser of a small modicum of what's to come in the expansion. Various activities are rewarding in a variety of ways, so as long as you're just playing the game, you're never really getting hit with any specific material bottlenecks, unless you really go ham with crafting and, you know, you're just crafting and not actually playing the game, right? As long as you are actively engaged in playing the game, and the loop now naturally has you bouncing from activity to activity, you're going to keep up with your materials. Nothing really feels tedious right now or frustrating. Now they've got the changes to tempering and masterworking. And if the secret Uber Lesser Evil fight is any hint at what kind of new endgame content we can expect in the future, that's great. And I'd say go even more challenging than that. The thing with these Ubers is that by the time you've farmed up all the materials to run the fight, it's not a challenge. Now, it's not perfect. No one's saying it's perfect. I have criticisms for sure. It's really annoying that the purified lesser evil parts are basically locked onto your character. I don't mind not trading them. I think they should be account bound, yes, but why can't I put them in my stash? Why can't I share them between my own characters? I figure it's some kind of anti-duping measure, but this is like just extra punitive to the 99.9% of the player base in order to prevent the 0.01 from cheating. Nerfing pit XP, I got mixed feelings there. I personally didn't mind running pits. I know a lot of people hate running pits, but like, I think one of the reasons I didn't mind running pits is just, it's a very simple grind and a groove that you can get into that doesn't drop such an overabundance of stuff that at endgame you're just inundated with item drops. And I do like that now bosses give XP, so it's more pleasurable now for me to do bosses because I know, well, you know, even if I'm not getting any good drops, I'm at least getting XP. But now we're just kind of stuck with lair boss jail for XP farming. Like, that's the best source of XP now. Again, it's great that they give good XP, don't get me wrong, I don't want that taken away, but it just kind of feels silly that running a pit 100...
Again, see, this is the problem Diablo 4 will never fix. Any new system that they add or improve is going to cannibalize like probably 2 or 3 systems that previously existed. Again, that you cannot name me a single mechanic in Diablo 4 that has been added that has not replaced or destroyed or made something else redundant in the game. That does not exist. That does not exist. And obviously, because players are gonna... No one wants leveling. Everyone hates leveling, and for a very good reason, because it doesn't matter. Nothing but the highest torment matters. Nothing but getting level 60 matters, and that's it. And everything else is like, again, just let us start with level 60. Like, who cares at this point?
Which is vastly more challenging than killing a Torment 4 lair boss. This is the worst way of getting XP. Basically, once you've maxed out all your glyphs, you have no reason to run pits anymore. Now, another gripe I kind of just hinted at, too much stuff drops. Yes, this is a first world problem, but let me clarify. I'm not-
No. This is not a situation where, oh no, my steak is too juicy and too buttery. No. This is a too much stuff drops, but literally maybe 1 out of 500 items is gonna matter, even if you're doing like, you know, a tier 60 rift. That's it.
Not talking about the gear here. Yes, too much gear drops, but whatever. The loot filter that's coming in the expansion, that's gonna fix the problem of too much loot.
3 years to make a loot filter. Just kill me now.
Gear drop?
By the way, when they make the loot filter and people actually filter the loot, people are gonna ask the question, is the filter bugged, or why am I not seeing a single item drop in literally 5 hours of gameplay? That's what people are gonna be thinking and asking when they add the loot filter. Again, quality of life features in bad games just show people who were previously unaware that they're playing a bad game. That's it. So, the moment the loot filter drops, people are gonna understand, oh shit, without these garbage drops, literally nothing even close comes close to mattering. It is insane. It is insane.
But the thing that's dropping too much right now, because of the season theme, is activity keys, right? Nightmare dungeons most of all. Like, our inventory to carry these things is too small. And more of these things drop than we can carry, right? You kill a world boss and so many keys drop, you gotta make multiple trips. Now, I'm not asking for a nerf here, but how about instead of so many keys drop, you...
Let me actually give you an example of a good game versus a bad game. So, here we have a boss in this game. In this game, if a boss takes long, it's annoying and it's frustrating. You know that there's not going to be any reward. And you want to one-shot the boss, because if it takes a long time, it's just boring. In Path of Exile, bosses matter. Path of Exile 2. In Path of Exile 2, bosses matter. They have mechanics. They're interesting. They're a challenge. And if they are not a challenge, by the way, if you can one-shot them in mapping, well, then that feels special, because you should not be able to do that on average. You have done something that is exceeding expectations. So that is the reward. Okay? You see how in a good game, all the game situations are rewarding for some reason? Well, in a bad game like Diablo 4, there's just no reward for any situation that you are in. Takes too long is boring because it takes too long, because it's just a stat stick. Instantaneously killed, you feel nothing because everything already instantaneously dies to you anyway. So, where is the middle ground? It doesn't exist. Oh man, there is no better example between a bad game like Diablo 4 and a good game like Path of Exile 2, or Last Epoch. Rip Last Epoch, you will be missed. Now, granted, again, I think we still have 2 good years of Last Epoch, and then it's gonna start turning into garbage because of... What's the company that bought it? Whatever.
Trips. Now, I'm not asking for a nerf here, but how about instead of so many keys drop, you drop like 1/5 of the number of keys and instead replace the other keys with sigil dust so we can craft our own keys, because we're going to be salvaging all those keys anyway, so just save us the hassle of having to make multiple trips to salvage these keys. And speaking of salvaging keys, maybe it's time to let us salvage infernal compasses and tributes as well. Again, all these things are dropping in such abundance this season, again, which is good because we're able to do so many different activities, but we can't possibly run all of these
Bro, the amount of effort put into this.
keys.
You can literally see that
So,
he's just
forced
he's
to
just randomly stuck in the
drop them on the ground, discard them otherwise, you know, if we can at least salvage them, get something out of it. Runes. We already didn't have enough room to hold all of our runes in the socketable tab. Now the Paladin has added even more runes, so now we have even less room, and it's encroaching even more into our stash space. We really need a dedicated rune inventory or a dedicated rune stash tab. Path of Exile does custom stash tabs really well. We should have a custom stash tab for our runes, a custom stash tab for our activity keys. These would be massive quality of life wins for the game. Apart from the stash search feature, Diablo 4's stash system is so far behind the competitions. Then leveling up Azmodan's divine gifts. I think something went wrong here. It requires such an obscene amount of Azmodan kills to max these out, which is so disproportionate compared to the other divine gifts that people are resorting to idling on normal difficulty to spam kill him. When this is the most efficient and effective way to level something up, something's wrong. I don't mind long tail progression. I advocate for long tail progression, but there's only 5 progression levels, so the time between any appreciable advancement is so long. And if you don't go out of your way to try to max these out, it's never going to happen through normal play. Then, poison damage. With the defense rebalance, poison balance seems to once again be out of whack. It's just way too much damage. Like, you get poison, you gotta pop all your potions just to barely stay alive. And this was a problem throughout most of the game's life. I think in recent seasons they managed to fix it, but now it's broken again. It doesn't matter how high your poison resistance is, until you're at a toughness level that is way beyond T4 content, poison is going to be just like a huge sudden, oh my god, I gotta use up all my potions. Speaking of T4, it's a bit too easy to reach a point in the game where everything is effortless, apart from pushing the pit, because the pit is effectively infinitely scaling. But I imagine this will be improved with the endgame expansion. I'm guessing they alluded to there being different like skill trees for each activity in the endgame to level up, so I imagine that will be juicing the difficulty and rewards, so I'm not too concerned about this in the long run. Then as for the pit, the number of explosions in the pit can be a bit excessive, especially considering we're often in tight little corridors. On a Paladin, it's on...
Okay, I guess no one cares at the end of the day. Anyway, that was Riker, Diablo 4, dead game, 10 out of 10. Bye!